Hi, my name is Gisette Gomez, and I'm going to talk to you guys about accountability and the importance of accountability. Okay, first and foremost, I want to start by showing you guys this sheet and with the questions. I attached them to this video. That way, you guys can look into it and think about the answer. Please, I want you guys to have the integrity and be honest about this question because it was only going to help you guys. That's all, okay? So we're going to start by asking the questions of accountability of your own. Okay, the first question is, when was the last time that you were late? Whether it was a work, a meeting, or any projects or things that you have to do. The second one is, can you explain a situation when you have made a mistake? What do you do about it? Was it because you did not put much time for it? Or was it effort that you did not put into it? Third question is, in our department, we sometimes have downtime. What would you do to utilize this time for our department? Or have you done this in the past with other corporations? And fourth question will be, do you have a to-do list? And how often do you make one? The fifth one, and one of the most important ones, will be, do you have any goals? And how often do you accomplish those goals? The sixth question is, when was the last time that someone had to remind you to do something? Whether they had to remind you to pick something up from the floor, or whether they remind you to put salt into the soup. Simple as that. The seventh question is, do you tend to forget things around? Example, your car keys, wallet, or any documents, or anything that you have to take and you don't take it with you. The eighth question, last question, will be, how many things have you lost in the past year? Or let's put it within the last month, because I know probably I won't remember the entire year, but if you guys give me something within the last month. Okay, now that you guys have answered all those questions, I want you guys to make sure that you guys are answering these questions with honesty and integrity. It is very important that you guys are doing this. That way you guys know where you stand. Okay? I'll give you guys a second to think about this question. Okay, now that we have gone through those questions, I want you guys to think about these questions and how does it actually affect your daily life. I mean, because sometimes we take these questions for granted, and my point here is to make you guys realize how important it is to keep accountability and how some of us tend to forget or not do it at all. So it's good to remind ourselves where we stand. Okay? So I hope you guys got really good answers with the accountability questions. Now we're going to talk about what accountability is. Accountability is the obligation of an individual or organization to account for its activities, accept responsibilities for them, and to disclose the results in a transparent manner. It also includes the responsibilities for money or other trusted property. Accountability is something that we have all dealt with in our lives. I mean, since we were kids, our parents used to give us milk every 2 hours or so on. They used to feed us. They used to give us showers at a certain time. They pretty much try to give us a schedule and account for the times that we had to do certain things or activities within our lives. In my experience, I started seeing a big importance of accountability once I became the supply sergeant in the military. I spent 9 years doing that, and during this time, I learned how important it is to have accountability. I was in charge of over 100 soldiers. I can't be saying the amount, but my job pretty much was to make sure that the soldiers had all their equipment, all their food, and all their uniform, everything they needed to do their daily task. Some of them had to go outside of the wire. I had to make sure that they have their weapons, radio communication, food. Their vehicles had to be ready. Everything had to be serviceable, and to make sure that they were set to go out. Unfortunately, there has happened many mistakes where soldiers are missing equipment, things going on, and that's where they suffer. So I make sure that all my soldiers had everything they needed. That way, none of them will suffer nothing through a lack of equipment. Okay, so pretty much my job was to accountable for equipment and make sure they're serviceable, and of course making sure that my soldiers were good. Um, um, what happens now? I want to talk to you guys more about what happens when you do not have accountability. This is important to know, that way you guys have it and see it in a different form. I want you guys to understand a concept of the importance of accountability, okay? So when you don't have the good accountability, you start missing mistakes. You start repeating mistakes. You start missing deadlines. You have variable workloads because you forget one thing here and another thing there. So you start having variable workloads. Then it goes into variable quality output. Then your performance may start slowing down or weakens. Then we start having anxiety, anger, stress because our accountability is not being well taken care of. We may start even having miscommunication because we're not communicating or not talking to the right person and account for this things that we're doing in life. We also we start dealing with people starts feeling untrusted towards us because we're not finishing the job at the right time, because we're not doing what we're supposed to do. So now they don't want to trust us and give us the job that we can actually do. There are many more things that can happen when you don't have accountability. Right now, I want you guys to think about 5 things that could happen when you do not have accountability. I'll give you a couple of seconds. I want to give you guys another example. For example, an example. If I didn't have the right equipment for my soldiers to go out, guess what? They may come ill or hurt, or something could have just happened. So that's a great example for you guys to think about how important it is to have accountability. Okay? Okay, now we're going to go into certain points to that way you guys can learn how to be more accountable. The first is to create a personal mission statement. The mission statement is that way you guys understand where you guys to stand and pretty much you have a better understanding of what you guys need to accomplish. Then we're gonna start setting up our goals. This is important. That way we know exactly what we want to do. The third is set of structures, as we want to do a to-do list, we want to put things in a calendar, we want to put things in a computer, we want to make sure we have the right time and alarms set up. That way we finish what we have to do. Another thing that is very important is to be able to motivate ourselves. I think that when we don't motivate ourselves, we tend to lose a lot. We tend to not care as things are important. So it's good to motivate yourself by either rewarding yourself because you did a bunch of different tasks and to do at a certain time, and that way it kind of gets you to feel better, and at the same time it will lead you to get more things done and to continue of obtaining this amazing quality of having accountability for things. um Another thing is, do one task at a time and make sure that it's correctly. We don't want to be rushing because this is the part of accountability. We want to make sure that we're doing quality. We're having quality work. So let's make sure we do things at a time and we have enough time to accomplish them. We gotta make sure that we emphasize on our strengths. That way we can also improve on our weakness and things that we need to do. Another thing is to value your time. Time is valuable, and we all know that the internet and everything else that is going on around us make things feel even different, but we need to value our times. Another thing will be seeking for feedbacks. It is important and for us to understand where we stand and how others perceive us and how have we improved when it comes to accountability, whether it's your boss, your family members, or the person right next to you right now. It is good to understand and see their point of views. And the last one is to review yourself, because no one is more critical than ourselves. We are very harsh when it comes to criticizing ourselves. So it's very important to review ourselves. That way we know where we stand. Okay, now I want to give you guys a little points. That way you guys understand and to close up accountability. Okay, so accountability helps an organization to clear roles, give employees a sense of ownership, support, and control to navigate the priorities. It is not about punishment, it is about improvement. Make sure you have the integrity that it takes to be 100% committed to change your life. Remember that when you're accountable of your life, those around you will see the difference and will start to be attracted to you because they see the difference. They see what you're doing, they see your success, they want to start being like you. So it is important for you to keep accountability towards yourself and nothing else, towards yourself and everything that you do. I also want you guys to check a video on YouTube. I think this video will help you guys out a lot and see a difference of how life works and the importance of accountability. The first one is accountability, empower yourself and your people. This is a very good video that you guys should watch, especially for those that are in management positions, and even if you are in a lower position, it will help you to become that type of manager. The other video is 100 accountability and 0 excuse, because we do not want to have excuses to deal with accountability. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me and have a good day. Bye bye.